So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another session of Free to Heal, where we come together. We are formerly incarcerated loved ones, children of formerly incarcerated people, and we come together every week to heal from the scars of incarceration, but also to be better people. Like the purpose, when we heal, we become healthier people. And that's good for all the people in our lives. And I had
Hello, I'm sorry. Uh, I'm the caretaker of my mom right now. She's in the
okay, wait, you know
hospital.
what? We're gonna have to when you get here, we'll talk further, okay? But right now
All right, all
I'm
right,
gonna go ahead and mute you and we're gonna move forward, okay, babe?
all right. Let's go.
So anyway, when my yesterday I had a situation um arise in my family, and it was a violent situation, and but the underlying principle and what I want to talk about tonight is we set ourselves up for drama because we're not honest. I know that hurt. I'm gonna let y'all sit with that for a second. We set ourselves up for drama because we're not honest. We're not honest with ourselves about what we're doing. We're not honest with the people around us. We're not honest with our loved ones. So it was a situation where a family member wasn't telling the rest of the family that there was a violent situation going on. And she was still engaging with um with a person that she knew was violent. And she didn't want to tell the truth. And so it really it just blew up. And I think that's as far as I want to go in terms of the details of what happened. But a lot of people that I know are incarcerated, and there's a lot of people that come out of incarceration that have to take anger management classes. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of people that have to take domestic violence classes. And all of those things happen because there was some violence involved in the crime. Somebody was harmed in that way. And part of what it is the drama gets set up because I sat down and wrote up a whole list of the ways that we personally subject ourselves to drama by not being honest and telling the truth. And so as we try to unpack this, I want you to think about it in the context of how you may do this in your life. And the one thing that we have identified, the one fear that everybody that comes onto these sessions has in common, we don't want people going back to prison. We don't want anybody to go to prison. My book, Hurt People Highway, talks about trying to keep people out of institutions. What institutions? Hospitals, prisons, jails, and cemeteries. Okay. My family situation yesterday could have led to the cemetery. It literally could lead to the cemetery even as we speak. If things are not fixed, it can literally lead to death of somebody or the penitentiary. So how are we dishonest with ourselves? That creates drama. No, she didn't write the paper. Okay, here we go. When we think we can use the person for what we want from them and then manage their behavior. We think we can hang out with them when we want to, if we want sex or we need a place to stay, or they cook a mean pot of neck bones. That's what a guy in one of the prisons told me. Oh, she cooked a mean pot of neck bones. Learn how to cook your own daggone neck bones. But if you know this woman is crazy, you need to stay away from her. Okay? You cannot use her for what you want and then think that you're going to manage her violent outbursts, any of the things that come with that. You cannot do those things. When we don't want to admit to ourselves that we still want to be in a relationship with the person, and we know that they're not healthy for us, we know that they can be potentially toxic, we know they've proven this already. Their toxicity and those things have already been proven. They've shown it. The behavior has already showed up. But we don't want to get out the relationship. Sometimes it's because we don't think that we deserve any better than what we have going on right now. Sometimes that's what we think it is. We think that this is the best that we can do. And what happens is we open the door for more drama. Well, again, my book talks about trying to be healthy so that we don't lead to the institutions. Again, I say in my family situation, somebody could have wound up dead yesterday and still could. And who's going to go to prison for that? Are they both going to be dead? What's going to happen? Right. So it's not as simple as it's not as simple as it's just about me. Turn that off. Another big one is we allow our shame and continuing to engage in the relationship keep us from telling the people around us what's going on. We're ashamed. We know we shouldn't be doing it, but we're ashamed. And so we're quiet. We do it on the, we think on the low. Yes, we isolate, and that gives people who are abusive and obsessive and all of that and possessive more power, because now you're isolated from the people who might stand up for you, or we're isolated in such a way that nobody can reach you to tell you anything or to even help you. And you become ashamed and you now don't want to tell nobody because they told you already that you need to leave this person alone. But you know it yourself. Nobody has to tell you that. You know it yourself. And so you wind up in this situation and it's drama. It's drama. It can lead to the penitentiary. It can lead to the hospital. It can lead to the cemetery. It can lead to insane asylums. You can lose your mind. But when are we going to be honest with ourselves and talk about what we're doing to ourselves? Nobody's doing this. These are things we're responsible for. These are not things that somebody is doing to us. These are the things that we are actively participating in. It's our choice. In my book, I have chapter 3 is Love Incarcerated, those prisons that we create for ourselves and refuse to leave. This is what this is. These are these kinds of prisons that we set up for ourselves because we don't want to get out of it, but we're not honest. We're still faking it. We telling half truths. We only telling the part of the story to our loved ones that we want them to hear. That make me look good and makes the other person look like a villain. Well, normally people don't just go off on you and all this kind of stuff and for no reason. Okay, you're not gonna be gone from somebody for months on end and not fooling with them. They haven't heard nothing from you, and all of a sudden now they showing up and breaking out your mama's windows and stuff. That's not true. That doesn't happen. Now, on the other hand, if you said for months, I'm not dealing with you, and you told your mama I'm not dealing with you and I'm not doing this, but yet and still I'm still on the low, I'm calling you, I'm taking your phone calls, I'm gonna let you come over and smoke a blunt. Okay. And now we done smoked this blunt and we hanging out, or we went to dinner. And now the person feels like they got right. And when they find out you've been lying and you're not telling the truth, now they mad. But they're not the villain. You did this to yourself. They didn't do this to you. And I'm heartbroken because somebody else that wasn't involved had to pay the price. Somebody else had to pay the price. And it's only a blessing that my family members didn't have to go to jail to protect another family member. And it is one of the reasons why the most dangerous cases for police officers to go out on are domestic violence cases. Why? Because people will turn on you. You think that you're protecting them, and what happens is they turn on you. The minute the police start accosting a person that's being violent, the other person step in and start attacking the police officers. But these are things, again, we do these things to ourselves. This is not something that somebody's doing to you. And we've talked a few weeks ago, we talked about the need to be honest with ourselves. We got to at least tell ourselves the truth. We cannot lie to ourselves. And we can't tell a half truth. Like I said, we're going to tell you only, we were told only so much of what was going on. We were told the whole story. So we, as a family, we still inviting this person, letting them, they show up, we invite them in. But we don't know. They've been played with. Now listen, none of that justifies, none of it justifies violence on anybody's part. None of it. If you was the person who was stalking somebody, if you're that person and you stalking and you being violent and you being possessive and you doing all those things, there is nothing to justify your behavior. Nothing. You are wrong. With a West Side W, dude.
I was wrong.
You wrong.
I was wrong. So I was wrong when I went over there and busted out the windows. I was wrong. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I was.
That
Okay.
yes.
I'm just asking
questions. Yes. Yes. When you went,
I was in my feelings. That's the part I'm dead.
Oh, and see.
Yeah, I was in my feelings.
Yeah, well, and guess
and
what?
A little bit of tequila.
Oh, the tequila. Oh, the tequila. Yeah. The tequila. Let me tell y'all about being a tequila. Ooh, y'all don't want me on no damn tequila, because I'm gonna tell you from here. I get real aggressive on some tequila. I don't even drink tequila. I can't stand the smell of it for fear I might get aggressive. Yeah, you was cockeyed wrong. Cockeyed wrong.
I was in my feelings.
And listen, and when you in that place right there, there's nothing but feeling. There is no common sense. There is no thoughts or none of that when that happens. It all is a ball of feeling at that time. All we're in is feelings. There's no rational thinking. There's no logic. There's no fear of consequences. It's all a ball of feelings. Well, guess what? A feeling is just a feeling. You're going to have multiple feelings a day. Okay? But none of that justifies, because as I'm watching this person break this door, I'm thinking to myself, I'm trying to figure out what makes this person think they have the right to destroy somebody's property because he's mad.
He was in his feelings.
What gave you the right?
He was in his feelings. That's when he was right.
But
that's not the right thing. But at that time, in his feelings, he felt it was okay to do what he did.
This is life. Life, we often do things that we feel.
What is that?
Because we'll say stuff like, because I was mad.
Yep.
Because I was mad. Yeah, you made me mad. Okay, and
What you think I put?
When you commit your crime, when I committed my crime, I justified it in so many different ways. Mad, angry, disrespected, felt like somebody shitted on my doorstep.
On your parade.
You know what I'm saying?
On your parade.
Because I can find a million reasons to be mad at somebody to want to kill them.
But that's the key. I can find.
I can find.
The key,
Yeah.
I can find, not that it's right.
I'm not
I-
saying it's right.
Right, but I'm saying that's the key.
Yeah.
I can find.
And we do, and we justify anything. We will justify anything, and I think that's one of the things that I have on here.
When you keep your moral compass's ass.
Yes, and we throw it to the wind.
It's just, you
Yes.
keep your moral compass's ass.
Yes.
That's when you justify.
Yes, and we say, like I say, and I've had people tell me, but I was mad, and yeah,
Justification.
okay, yeah, well, but it doesn't change anything, and the consequences of that are the same. The consequences, right? The outcomes may be the same. The consequences are real, and they're alive, and you don't get to get away from those things. Listen, I'm not telling you things that I heard. I'm talking about what I know and what I lived. These are things I've done, things that where one of the things that I'm least proud of in my life, I was hurt. My feelings was hurt and I was mad, but I wasn't right. I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong. And so, but the thing is that I wasn't willing to be honest with myself. I wasn't willing to say in that moment, the only reason you could be so mad about this and what you really mad as is you mad at yourself because you continue to participate even though you knew you wasn't getting the treatment that you deserved.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Wait 1 second. Cheryl hand went up and then I come to you.
I cut John Lofton's interior up because I was 17 or 18. I was mad. I was very wrong.
And you cut up the interior of his car?
He had just got that stuff tucked in, whatever they do to it, and I cut it all up
Tuck
the
it
inside.
right.
I had never done stuff like that before, but in my feelings, I found it necessary to hurt something I knew that was his pride and joy,
Yeah.
right?
People hurt people.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Hurt people. And what were you gonna say?
The thing most that I say is the intentions, and this is the devil's advocate, the intentions of the individual,
Which one?
of the victim
Uh-huh.
may have been honorable.
Bullshit.
but
I'm calling bullshit.
But let me say this devil's advocate. This devil's advocate. The individual may be using intentions of honesty, and the perpetrator
do that.
Wait,
has
let
a
him finish.
whole different delusional state in their mind of why they're mad, or the state of inflicting pain upon the victim.
So I'm gonna say this. In this conversation, no. I'm gonna say this. In this conversation we're having, we're not the victim.
No, never.
Because what I said was, these are things that we cause drama because we're not being honest with ourselves. No, listen.
No one is the victim there.
No, there are no victims in this. In this scenario, nobody's hands are clean. Nobody is a victim in this scenario. Okay, I'm gonna come right back to you. But let me tell you, wait, I see your hand, Terrell. The reason, okay, let me say this. I'm gonna pause right here and say this. Now, if I take this pen
Don't stab nobody.
and I just start stabbing him in the neck like he deserved, he a victim because he didn't do nothing. Okay, that's not what we talking about here. Just so everybody know. Okay, but he might get the pen if he don't cut it out over here. Okay, just saying. But
I ain't say yeah.
in this scenario, and you probably wouldn't want to. You probably should remain silent. The police tell you that it's your right to remain silent. But look, that's the thing. And Terrell, I did see your hand. I'll come back to you in a minute. But what I'm saying is this. These are things that we do that bring the drama. I don't care if we know, because I'm talking about once a person has shown you their propensity, their likelihood, their ability to go into violence and abuse and obsession and possession, you got two choices: stay or go. If you stay, you are not a victim. You have made a choice.
Consciously.
You have made a choice. And please don't tell me that I had a young lady in CIW tell me one time, well, you know, if my criming had I wouldn't even be in prison. If my criming had just let me out the car, you know, when he came and borrowed that gun, he didn't. I said, hold it right there. Stop right there. What we not going to do, and I tell y'all this all the time, what we not going to do on Free to Heal, and I never did it in no group, and we're not going to lie one to another. And I'm not going to sit here and let this young lady in her late 20s sit here and say she was only in prison because the guy didn't tell her what he was going to do and didn't let her out the car. No, you was in prison because you was living a lifestyle that you was the one he went to go borrow the gun from. Let's go back to where it really started. Don't give me that nonsense. No, you was there because of the lifestyle you was living. You were the choice. You were the person he knew had the gun. Why did you have that? And what did you think he was going to do with the gun when he got it from you? You thought he was just going to admire it? He was going to admire it. He was going to look, he was going to clean it for you? Was he going to go buy, what you think he was going to do with it? So don't give me that nonsense. You wouldn't be no, you was in prison because you made a choice. So don't miss me. Terrell, go ahead. I'm sorry. I want you to go ahead and say what you got to unmute though, baby. Why you look sleepy? You all right? You okay?
Long day.
Yeah, baby. Okay.
Long
Long as your health is good.
Yeah, long day. Just long day. Allergies, sinuses, all this
Okay.
crazy.
Yeah, your eyes are swollen like allergies. Yeah.
But just listening to what you said, it's really just it's not funny, but to me it's funny in a sense because the victim is the people on the outside coming to the rescue, and it's a damn shame when people throw the rock and hide their hand, or they laying up with a person and telling you a whole different story, and then when something happened, they want you to come to their aid. You know, and they're gonna be the main person telling the police what you did to they lover when you do something to them. And we talked about this before, and you know, classic relationship, stay in your lane shit, straight up. That ain't my business. Yeah, I love you, my family, but you chose that relationship, deal with how you deal with it. Don't bring me into the shit because you're gonna victimize me by putting me in jeopardy with the person or myself doing something. That's the victim. Those are the victims. The
Those
victims
are
are
the victims, Terrell.
the people who get brought into the scenario of the bullshit. You know,
especially you know why they're a victim too, Terrell, is because they don't even know the whole story.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They don't.
You're
That
right.
ain't their business. They don't care. But you bringing them in on the blind. That's the whole thing about it. That's why I don't get involved with nobody's relationship. I don't care who you are. That's you. That's your life. You screwing that person. Do what you do. Don't bring me into nothing. Definitely don't call me when it's a dispute.
Right.
Call the police. You know what I'm saying? Or call the crisis management team, because that's who they got now for you. So call them. Don't call me. You know, I mean, this is just a lesson. I mean, pretty much what you're saying is letting people know, don't get involved in other people's relationships because you don't know the full story. And coming home out of prison, you got a lot of loved ones and family members that will drag you into some shit and will fuck your whole life off.
Well, see, in my perspective on my angle, where I want us to come at this with Terrell though in this conversation is what we're doing. I don't want us, me personally, what am I doing? I don't want this conversation to be about what the other people are doing and how they're going to drag. No, I want us to pay attention to what we're doing that causes us and the people around us drama. Because you see, it's not going to be none if I know, Terrell, that you got little signs of, showing the little signs of being you know, you being a little crazy, you know what I'm saying? You a little aggressive, whatever. And I know you got them signs and I see all that, or worse yet, you done already went upside my head once, or you done broke out my windows or whatever. And I know you did all these things. And now, but yet I'm still messing with you, right? That's me being in violation of myself. That is not you. And I can no longer blame you when I wind up in jail because I was still messing with you, right? I can't any longer do that. Now I have to accept responsibility. And because Free to Heal is about us healing from within, us healing ourselves, it's not about us trying to heal other people. This is about us knowing what we're doing that's causing us the problem and the drama that we have. This is about us understanding how institutionalization and prison and all that stuff fits into the choices that we make. We got to be better for ourselves so that we don't get at that system no more time. Because let me tell you something, in a split second, it can be a split second, it can all change. And before you know it, you back in the pen. It don't take that long. It don't take that long. It's a split second. But why? Not because so-and-so came over there and broke out my family member's door. No. Because you were still fooling with homie. You were still engaging. You were still getting down. Right? And the concept that, because listen, that's like this. You know that old parable, you know, that bring the snake in and the snake bite him. Now they all concerned, but you knew I was a snake when you brought me up in here. You knew I was a snake. You knew I was crazy. So why all of a sudden now, because I act like a snake and I bit your behind, now all of a sudden you the victim? Nah, don't cry now, motherfucker. Don't cry now. Excuse my language, but don't cry now. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Why? Because you knew better. You knew better. You knew it was a snake when you brought it in. And don't go off now talking about, no, woe is you, my behind. I ain't having it.
That comes with maturity too. That comes with
Come a little closer just so they can.
That comes with maturity too, and being more honest with yourself. Because for me, I stayed somewhere where I should have been gone. I had to be honest with myself because that's something I said I wanted to work. But when the moment I said I didn't want it to work and I walked away, that was being honest to me. So I had to start being honest and die. Forget what everybody else thought it was. Forget what everybody wanted it to be. Forget what I even wanted it to be. I had to be honest to myself and be mature to walk away from a situation I should have been walked away from.
And see, that's the thing, but that's the whole point of this conversation, is what it required was for you to tell yourself the truth. What was that truth? I stayed here knowing it was bullshit. I knew it was bullshit. I knew it was bullshit in the game, but I stayed. Why? Because my intention was I wanted it to work. I wanted it. You can't blame everybody else. Yeah, well, yeah, because you was wrong for busting out the windows. Your feelings was hurt. Look, oh, poor baby. Oh, yeah, well, whatever, but you were still wrong. 4 or 5 tequila shots. That tequila, baby, talk to you in a whole different way, don't it? Don't it? That tequila. I just need
you busting out the window to get you put in jail.
See, that's the thing. This is what we trying to prevent. Yeah.
About that. I was all in my feelings. I didn't care.
But that's what I'm saying, but it was still a wrong.
Yeah, it was wrong.
Yes.
Now I know I don't do that no more.
Right. Because guess what? You don't want to have a number.
No, I don't.
Other than the cell number. Okay.
These two.
Okay.
The rooms are too small.
Okay, and the bed and the toilet is too close to the. They're gonna have to. Okay. Okay. If
I would be on the pills because I want to fall down.
Yeah, you're gonna be in there telling the people that they need to knock out the walls. They need to remodel the walls. And they're gonna put her in the psych ward and you're gonna be on the pink pill. You're gonna be okay. Let's say this. We want the purpose of Free to Heal is to keep us away from the white coat and the little pink pills.
I had the white coat on the low. That wasn't cute. I didn't tell anybody about that.
You didn't mention. You only said about the pills. Okay. Okay. Well, we want to avoid the white coat, and the little pink pill. Huh? An eel? You know it was a snake. It don't matter. Sorry. Sorry. Look, bite for the same price, my baby. Bite for the same price, and your ass is still bit. It don't matter what all you thought. Because, see, he told you he was a snake. He told you he was. Terrell,
But the thing about it is this, though. You got to understand this. And this is just the human dynamic. I don't care how much you realize it, how much you know it. You got to be strong enough to pull away. And that's why a lot of people stay. They're not strong enough to pull away. They know they're in a jacked up situation. They be knowing it's toxic. They know anybody can go to jail at any time. It can hurt somebody, but they're not strong enough to pull away.
Oh, you don't feel like that.
So it ain't about being mature, because you could be mature and they have them conversations all the time, but they're not strong enough to pull away.
Well, and I think it definitely is a maturity thing, but I also am very clear that these are choices. No matter when we peel.
Of course it's a choice. Of course it's a choice, but I'm
right.
Like,
it's still, and this is why we're talking about it, so that we can identify not the source of the problem, but the source of the fix, Terrell. You understand what I'm saying? We about the solution up in here. We can come on here every day, and I see your hand, Darius. I'm gonna come right to you. We can come together every Tuesday and whine and talk about how bad the system was and what happened and all. We could do that all, but how are we gonna fix it? I can tell you, yes, I'm scarred. I got scars from going to go visit dude in the penitentiary. Yeah, I do. There was a whole lot of things that didn't go right. Okay. Yeah, I got scarred from the fact that the relation. Okay, but what was my part in that? Right? How do I prevent that from happening again? That's someone else. Or to someone, or how can we help somebody else avoid it? Darius, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you to unmute and go ahead and say what you gotta say.
I get all this. That's like, when I was sending out invitations to my birthday party, right? I got a little cousin that I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, but no. And it was like uncles and stuff like that. So a lot of people felt hurt that I didn't invite them. And like I told them, I didn't want that vibe at my party. I wanted everybody to have a good time. I didn't want nobody being like, oh, well, he here, he, saying weird stuff to people and all that. No, don't even come. Hey, and so a few family members like, well, you ain't letting my son come. I ain't coming by. You know what I'm saying? And now they looking like, oh, we should have went. Yes. Hey, that's on you.
Flip-flop. Catch you on the flip-flop, baby, because guess what? You ain't got no more time to get a penitentiary. And because if you didn't think that there was a real possibility that homie could bring an energy, a behavior, or whatever that could cause a problem, you would have invited him. If you thought he was cool and he had the ability he was mature enough to control himself in that environment, but you perceived that he wasn't. And guess what? Even if you was wrong, he got time to prove it. And guess what? If he really want to celebrate you, y'all can still get together and go celebrate. He ain't got to be mad. He gotta be mad. If you want to really celebrate me like that, homie, let's go. Yeah, your daddy, all y'all, we can go. Y'all can cook me dinner and we can celebrate. But what we not doing is you wasn't setting yourself up for the fall, or nobody else that you invited. See, it wasn't even just about you. You wanted everybody. You said, I wanted it to be a good vibe. And that's what you were supposed to do. That was the mature thing to do. And you was willing to take the scorn from the family. You should, well, whatever. Because guess what? Wasn't nobody in that cell with you, Darius, was they? Not for the family, not none of them people.
Nah.
They wasn't in there doing that time with you. See, and because of that, and if you go back, they're not doing none of that with you neither.
And you know what's funny too? Even somebody even tried to put a grandfather card on. They told my granddad, right? He said, oh, he didn't invite you? He must didn't want you here.
I think it's just that simple. He didn't want you there.
Now
you need to start asking yourself. Now, see, and instead of the person trying to make you a villain, the person should be asking themselves, wait a minute, what's wrong with me? Start sniffing, y'all. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with me? Why do they not want me there? What am I doing? What is it about me? Like, turn the mirror on yourself. You don't have to look no further than yourself to find a solution. To 99% of your problems, the solution is you. It's how you move. When we find out things that are causing us hurt and pain, we think that's the end of the story. No, we got to go through the really painful part, and that is deciding and figuring out what I did that led me to that place in the first place. I can't hear you. Wait. Go ahead and unmute and say that again. Unmute and say it again. Unmute. Unmute, Darius. Uh-oh. Oh, there you go.
No, some man, damn election people.
Huh?
Election people.
Oh, they was calling you?
Man, I'm like, hey, I'm in a Zoom meeting. He's like, I got a question for you. I'm like, bro, I'm in a Zoom meeting. See, my tablet tripping. Normally I'll be on my tablet. My tablet tripping, so that's why I'm on my phone.
Well, it's working out. But
Yeah.
I appreciate your input, because honestly, again, the solutions are in us, right? We need to, your family member needs to start checking their behavior and what it is about what they're doing that's causing you not to want them around. But let me tell you what I know. I can bet $2 to a dozen donuts. They already know why. They already know.
Oh,
know why.
yeah.
They know what element they bring that you didn't want at the party.
It starts with self first.
It starts with self. This is where the solutions are. If we want different, we got to move different.
They can simply ask.
Yep.
Right. Yes.
I've had that conversation. They can simply ask you. I've had that conversation of why a cousin can't come to my house. Number one, because it's my motherfucking house.
How about that?
And if I said so, I said so, and it is definitely based on how they move, how they behave, and the other things. I've had to tell their brother, their mother, their children. It's simply how they move. And then when someone passed away, I had the opportunity to sit her down and have the conversation with her and let her know, face to face, I need to tell you, you still asking the question after about 15 years. Let me tell you why. It's simply the way that you move. It's your energy. It's everything that you bring to the table. You come in with a negative nanny attitude and everybody is turned off and nobody wants to tell you. I have no problem telling people how I feel.
Okay. Because guess what? Because especially if you're talking about it in your house.
In your house, in your energy.
Right?
You have that right. Even if it wasn't your house, it was his birthday.
Right.
At his birthday, he had a right to say, at this point in time, I don't want to deal with that person. That maybe that person comes and gets drunk. I mean, I have had to tell my uncles, hey, homie, give me them bottles out your pocket. You doing enough. Why are you doing this? Nobody else wants to have that conversation, but I don't have any problems having that conversation. And you have a right to who you invite to celebrate you, whether it's at your house or not. It's a celebration of you. You have a right. The only right you don't have is at your funeral.
That's it. Right? Because you don't get to make no decisions for that. And look, and for me, again, the whole purpose of all of this conversation is about the choices that we make that cause us issues. Okay.
Conversations. You don't have no choice on who's gonna be at your funeral, even if you make an invitational list.
So another thing we do when we continue to engage with the person that has shown us signs of being violent and or abusive, this is how we contribute to drama. This is how it shows up at our doorstep. When we hide the truth of our continued communications with the abusive person from the people that are close to us. We talked about that earlier. When we make excuses for the behavior of others that have proven to behave in ways that we know are not healthy for us. We already know, yeah, right. He didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. Well, you know what? He was just, he was upset that day because, Oh God, that's a classic. And I shouldn't have said what I said, or I shouldn't have did. I should have just said, oh my gosh. Yeah, okay. All of those. When we, like I said before, when we don't admit to ourselves, we still want to be in a relationship with this person. See, that was what you were saying, right? You stayed because you wanted it to work. You wanted it. You wanted your
And
marriage.
I stand up and stand on it. That's what
Right.
I wanted.
And whatever happened with that is where you had to
Yeah,
live,
that's what
right?
I had to deal with.
But it didn't mean that you had to stay there forever. That's the other
No.
thing I think that's really important. It is not a life sentence.
No, it's not.
No.
No,
It's not a life sentence. The same way you chose that,
Mhm.
you can
To
choose
walk away.
to walk away. You can choose to make another, when that phone call come, you can choose to not answer. When they call you anyway, you can choose to block them so they can't get you. You could choose to, if it's a physical thing, a location thing, you can choose to move. Right? We do have choices. These kinds of scenarios we are not powerless in them.
And you're not a victim. Stop
Right.
playing the victim role. You're not a victim.
No,
You're not a victim. You're not a
no.
victim.
No, and if you if you want to be a victim, realize you're a victim of your own
Right.
behavior. You're not a victim of nobody else. You're a victim of your own choices.
Is it safe to say you started off as a victim?
No. No.
Started off as
Yeah,
a victim because.
I agree. I say yes.
Because
in
you
a way,
started off when it happened.
because you didn't
started off
know
as
the
a victim.
truth.
So then, but once you begin to stay,
when you didn't
stop
know the
being a
truth,
victim,
you
right?
were the victim.
So,
Right.
so from this perspective, you were ignorant at first. You were ignorant of the truth,
Yeah,
right? You didn't know from that, but where I'm picking this conversation up is what I said, where we already know. This person has already shown us signs. So, but you're correct in the sense that a lot of times we don't know when we get involved with somebody that they're crazy. We don't know that they're abusive. We don't know that they have possessive tendencies. We don't know that they want to control everything that we do. We don't know that their intention is to isolate us from everybody around us. But guess what? Eventually it starts to sneak out because they can't hide it. It's going to show up.
In this particular situation, the red flags came before the relationship or whatever.
The red flags came in the midst of the relationship and they continued it.
And they got worse.
Continued it, and now it is spread that it's affecting other people. So that's what this is about. Like when once you know, you got two choices, stay or go. But if you stay, you own everything that happened from that day forward.
But don't involve other people if you choose to stay. And anything you choose to do and you know it ain't right, don't involve nobody else.
Right.
You deal with that yourself.
Right. And that's the thing, because
Their own.
Yeah, people
And-
do get in. I've accepted.
That's just as bad.
Yeah, that
because
makes it worse.
That makes it worse.
That made it
because
worse.
That's where they, like he said, they become the victim.
Mhm.
yes,
Whether you involve them or sometimes they involve themselves.
right. And so like I say, it was just the kind of thing where, I feel so bad for the family members because we love our family, we love each other, and we don't want to see this person hurt or killed. And I personally don't want to see nobody again have to go to jail for trying to defend this person, because there's no way that we're going to allow somebody to come into our circle, into our home, and harm our family member. That's just not going to happen. We're just not made like that, but then this person needed to be honest about the fact that you're still fooling with this person. And see, again, it's about the maturity level. So I'm just grateful that we can have these kind of conversations because, again, our purpose here is to help us heal. How do we heal? We become healthy ourselves. This is not for us to point fingers at somebody else. This is for us to be healthy in our own right. This is so that we don't make the same mistake in the future that can again cause us to lead to the penitentiary. Because guess what? Anybody, I've said this to you guys before, as an 18-year-old, I was in a situation where I literally could have gone to prison for life in Georgia because I was mad. I was mad. And had I done that, my mother, everybody would have been horrified that I threw away my life over something that it appeared to be a material thing, but it really for me wasn't a material thing. It was the principle involved. It was the fact that this person had stolen from my mother, who had done nothing but been good to her. But even still, again, that sounds like a valid justification. But if I had killed that girl like I intended to, it wouldn't have mattered. They'd have never met me in CIW because I'd have been in jail in Georgia. Okay, I'd have never got out. But Georgia, that life sentence down there, that's real thing.